Hello, I'm Val Smith, and let me take this down a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. Hi, I'm Val Smith, and today I'm doing a book review of East. So, East is honestly a fantastic. I don't even know if calling it a fantasy book is accurate because what it really is a fantastic fairy tale. It's a novelized fairy tale adaptation in a roundabout way to a classic fairy tale, East of the Sun, West of the Moon. East of the Sun, West of the Moon is actually kind of one of the most fascinating fairy tales, and it goes with the book too because share they share for the most part the exact same story. But what makes the story so interesting, and this is entailed in the book as well, is its fascinating mix of Beauty and the Beast and the story of Cupid and Psyche. So Beauty and the Beast, you at least have an idea because of Disney, thankfully. But you probably may not know of the story of Cupid and Psyche. It's really interesting. So with the Cupid and Psyche story, this guy loves this girl, and they want to be together, but they can't for whatever reason because of a curse or something like that. And so they have to try and break the curse, and they have to like follow this particular sort of rule, if you will, to make it through. And if the rule breaks, it's relationships lost, and it, yeah, basically that's sort of what the story of Cupid and Psyche is about, and that's in this story because there is this sort of unspoken rule of her being able to sleep beside someone without ever seeing who that person is. Because if she saw who that person was that was sleeping beside her, not doing anything weird, just sleeping beside her at night, then if she saw him, she would lose him, and that's exactly what happens. She does lose him, and then she has to basically go save him and chases where he's at and find out where he's at and save him, and it's very fascinating. The whole story is that this boy basically gets kidnapped by a troll queen, and the troll queen wants to marry said boy, but the father doesn't want that to happen, so he curses the boy into being a bear. Yes, a polar bear specifically. Transforms him into a polar bear and makes him go through all these rules that he has to try and go through to gain his freedom and regain his true self as a the boy that he once was. And he's been trying and failing to do that for a very long time. And Rose, the main protagonist, is the last person that could help save him. She does save him in the end. I know I'm technically spoiled it there, but it's a fairy tale. The sort of story beats are the sorts of things you kind of already know, but it's just done in such an engaging way that it's really quite beautiful. I think also what's really fascinating is the way that it's written. It's written almost in the classical kind of like what is it called? The Victorian like style. The sort of the Victorian, because that's sort of like Charles Dickens style of generally written with letters and documents and newspaper articles, that sort of style. It's used throughout with different characters writing their different sort of perspectives on it. So instead of chapters, it'll be a said character's story. And with the earlier parts of, say, the White Bear, because he's a white bear at the time, he can't speak regular English. His bits are actually written in poetry, which is actually pretty interesting. Unafraid, her mouth a smile, piercing so long ago, so much lost, alone, always alone. A cloak catching the wind, colors north, south, east, west, purple eyes, north, south, east, west, east, unafraid. So, yeah, it's, it's just such a good book. Like, I really do love it. I think what makes this so different than a lot of adaptations of similar things is that it really does genuinely feel like a fairy tale. When you get a lot of these adaptations, it's like more of like a fantasy retelling of some traditional story beats. Percy Jackson's a great example. Now, don't get me wrong, Percy Jackson's a good series, but it's really just a fantasy that uses the with the Percy Jackson series the Greek myth. It's instead of trying to be like a myth in like the Greek myths of old. It's more of just a fantasy retelling using Greek myths. Whereas East is a fairy tale. You know, it's a literal fairy tale written as a fairy tale, And yeah, that's what makes it so great. Like, even though you know certain parts of it because it's a tale as old as time, if you know what I mean. It's just so well told, and it's well written, and it's just beautifully characterized, and it's a real it's a real fun time. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could possibly nitpick is like the first little section kind of feels like a little bit of filler before the book really starts around page 17 with the father. Yeah, but that's just, again, I'm just nitpicking. It's just a great book. It deserves way more, recognition than it gets. You should give it a read if you love fairy tales, especially East Sun, West of the Moon. That's a great fairy tale too. You should definitely read that if you get the chance. So yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, bye, bye.